LeBron, kind of going off your first day school vibes, I can appreciate that as a father of girls who just recently went through that.
Yeah, for sure.
What's day two been like? You guys having fun? You loving your classmates, your teachers? What's the vibe?
No, absolutely. It's just it's all part of the process, and continue to work our habits. Continue to emphasize what we want to do, both offensively and defensively, but just building the culture of how we want to play Laker basketball this season. So good 2 days so far.
I know since the Russ deal went down, you guys have spent a lot of time together talking about what it would look like. I know you've been Olympic teammates, all-star games. Just what have you picked up over the last 2 days? We always hear about his kind of relentless competitive fire. Has that been on display?
Of course. And so it's nothing that he's showing me that I didn't already know. We've been competing and been, like you said, teammates of his on all-star games and Olympic team. Just know the fierce competitor he is, but such a great teammate as well, communicator. And we always just constant dialogue how we can be better for one another, but also for the greater team.
Mike? LeBron, any of the new guys, I know you know the whole league, right? You watch all the teams play, but anybody that's come in and you've seen, oh yeah, I like the way that this might fit with what we do, we being the guys that have been here. How has that started to come to a head after just a couple of practices?
I would say K9, Bays, and DJ. They've picked up some things. Obviously, Rondo and Dwight kind of,
right.
They already kind of know our system, so that goes without saying. But I think Bays, K9, and DJ has been playing really good ball for us, but just learning our system pretty fast, and so that's great to have.
And then I wanted to ask you about transition. So you guys led the league in fast break points 2 years ago. It was right there with Toronto. Last year it took a step back for a number of different reasons. Just wondered how much of a point of emphasis that is, how much that is dictated by you guys, how much Frank wants it in, Russ's inclusion, all that. Like, how do you think that'll impact the team this year?
Well, we definitely want to get back to run. I think that's the best part that we can do this year is our ability to get on a run. I mean, obviously Russ is always top 5 in pace in our league, so being able to use that and use that to our advantage is going to be beneficial to our overall offense.
Okay.
Carmelo brought up the 2004 Olympic team, and he said that if we weren't to win it with this team, we would feel like that team where we got the bronze. How do you manage like the belief factor in a new roster versus like trying to like avoid the expectation pressure?
If you know me, it's all about the work that we put in, and it's day to day. Every day we just try to get better and better. And it's all about the process. I don't get them too far ahead of me because I love the process of working towards trying to get to that ultimate goal. But you have to put in the work every day. So we are in a good place 2 days into the season. I would say that.
Your first year in Miami, there was a ton of anticipation around the league for that roster. Could you compare the feeling of this roster to that at all, or is it completely different?
It's a different feeling, but there's just a lot of excitement around our league in general. It's a lot of great teams out there, a lot of great players, and we happen to have some really good players on our team, and hopefully we can come together as a team to where we can all showcase our talent for the greater team, because that's the most important.
Maybe transitioning from Miami, you're back to number 6 this year, which is obviously a number you wore there and a number you wore in practice. What was the thinking behind that change, and is there anything different in terms of your mentality that goes with that? It's always been a part of me, to be honest. 6 has a lot of meaning to me, not only from like my family and numbers and things of that nature, to what I believe in and things of that sort. But my mentality doesn't change. Going out, being an overall basketball player, trying to dominate at all facets of the game, and being a great teammate and being a great leader. Obviously, you can tell I've been yelling over the last couple of days. Just trying to implement everything as my voice is deteriorating as the minutes go on, but that's a good thing. Is that a competitiveness thing? Is that hey guys, here's how we do it here kind of thing?
A little bit of all, a little bit of everything.
Last two, Dan.
Hey, LeBron.
What's up, Dan?
Sorry. A couple summers ago, your plate was like incredibly full. Obviously, you had movie stuff, you had more than the road stuff, you had it's a never-ending cycle, right? Was there more time to unplug before this season? You talked about a mental refresh a little bit. Was there more time for just sort of you and nothing this summer, all things considered? And are you feeling that at all?
I got a little bit of time for just me, but I had a movie that came. The movie that I was shooting 2 years ago dropped this year, so I had to do a lot of stuff for that. But I do a lot of other things. But I did get an opportunity to get some me time, some family time, some friends time. Recalibrate, recenter myself. I took advantage of the time that we had off just away from the game, while at the same time putting in my work and coming into camp in the best shape I can be in to this point of the season.
Have you felt a tangible difference in these first two practices versus last year?
Say that again?
Felt like a tangible difference, in these two practices versus those first two last year when you guys are, 75 days removed or something like that?
Yeah, it's just the energy. Energy alone. Last year after coming off the bubble, it literally took everything away from you. Any little bit of energy that you had, it was completely gone when we left there. So, to come back into the season with the quick start that we had, kind of the life of the party was a little bit just like, it was kind of stale, rightfully so. Guys didn't get an opportunity to have a mental break. You could definitely feel the energy shift a lot more in, this season, the first two practices compared to last.
Last question, Alan.
Hey, LeBron. Hey, just curious. I know there's probably a number of goals before you get to the season starting. There's specific one or two that you key on specifically for yourself this stage of your career between now and when the regular season starts?
I think it would be, getting back into playing shape. I feel great. I got my body in, like I said, the best possible chance to be in the best shape I can be. But there's no simulation for once you get out on the floor and you start going 5-on-5. You got other grown men leaning and bumping on you and, hanging on you and things of that nature. So getting my win, that's one, and then getting my rhythm while long still doing that. So, obviously, talk with the coach, with Coach Vogel, talk with Mike Mancias and the training staff on, how we, balance out the preseason, things of that nature where I can get some rest, but also at the same time get in rhythm, get my wind too. So, but my wind and my rhythm is most important for me.
You've been through so many media days, I'm sure, and a lot of it is promotional videos, talking to people like you. The scene or the moment where you are with Dwight, Carmelo, LeBron, Anthony, am I missing someone? 6 of you. That collection, did that stand out to you at all? Posing for a photo like that, knowing that to have all those guys on the same team?
Not really. I just felt, the shortest out of the group. I didn't think about, the greatness behind me, but like I said, nevertheless, it was a great media day. Like I said, that photo will forever be remembered. Especially if we can do something special this year. So, other than that, it was just taking photos with a lot of the greats.
You know the game, the history of the game. You ever seen that photo of Shaq, Kobe, Karl Malone, and Gary Payton?
I mean, I haven't seen the photo, but obviously I remember those guys. So the team assembled.
Right. Yeah. So did you think there are any parallels to that team and this team?
Everybody's up there in age. We had a couple more guys. I think they had 4. I think we had supposedly 6, so
yeah.
5.5. I don't know. But like I said, that was a while back. But I think the similarities is obviously the age.
Yeah.
Bill?
Hey, Rajon, I'm just curious what of these new guys, who's impressed you the most in the first couple of days of practice, and what do you look for early in practices to be able to say that's something that's standing out to me when it's so early?
You can't say one guy. I mean, Russ's pace, his intensity, his competitiveness. You got DJ, rim protection. The guys look like they have, an open shot, and DJ's coming out of nowhere. I don't think Melo's missed since he's been a Laker. So, I mean, everything is gelling, and it's only day 2, so I'm excited to continue to see guys grow, even down to the rookies. You know, Austin Reeves is very impressive. So it's been a great 2 days so far. I want to continue to build and grow each day.
Dan?
Rajon, what's it like for a team when the guys at the top, specifically LeBron, sets the tone with like his energy? Like that guy is pretty incredible energy. I'm sure you've noticed that in your time with him. Well, what's that do for everybody when he sets the tone with that, when he's as engaged and energized as he is?
I mean, it's what greatness is all about. That's why, certain teams, every team he's played on has been to, the top of the top. And when a guy like that is setting a tone, everyone else has to fall under the bar and lock in and try to do the same.
No follow-up, Dan? Go ahead, Dan.
Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
That was such a good answer, Tanisha. I just want to let it marinate.
Appreciate that, Dan.
Right.
Do you know how much you're going to be playing with this squad?
Coach told me anywhere from 0 to 48. So I'm gonna go in between that realm.
We missed answers like that.
So like I said, regardless of how many minutes or I do play or don't play, I'm grateful to be here, and I know I can bring so much more if I'm not playing. So regardless of my role, I know I'll have a big impact regardless of playing or not.
Coach, if you can just give us kind of an overview of the first 2 days, just in terms of what the focus has been from you, how competitive. I know you have a lot of new faces, but some guys also returning.
Yeah, balancing offense and defense. Really getting our new guys up to speed with terminology, our system. I think there's not going to be a lot of changes defensively to what we do. We feel good about what we're doing on that end, and we're just trying to get everybody up to speed with the way we do things and what the coverages are and the reads and the communication and whatnot. And we're giving some different looks offensively, to just fit our roster. Every time your roster changes, you want to just tailor your system a little bit to put guys in position to succeed. So we've been looking at a lot of those things, and just trying to open the floor up for Russ and Bron and AD and the rest of the guys, and just getting the ball rolling.
I know defense has been the calling card the last couple of years. With the veteran group, even with new guys, is the terminology a lot easier and the system a lot easier to explain because these guys have put in the time and been great defenders in their careers?
Yeah, I think it's less about the experience and more about the experience in our system. You know what I mean? It's the guys that have 2, 3, or I guess 2 years, in our system are going to be further along, than even the experienced newcomers, because they're just they got to get up to speed with what we're calling things, what our coverages are, how we handle certain actions. That's part of the learning curve, and they're picking up pretty quickly.
Has anybody stood out that kind of pops in your head?
Well,
Besides the obvious.
Russell Westbrook's pretty good.
He's pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good basketball player. He's good at basketball, and his speed and not just in the open court, but the downhill driving, paint attacking nature of his game, has really been something else to watch up close in practice the last couple of days. And I think Lakers fans are going to be thrilled about what he looks like in the purple and gold.
It's probably nice to have him on your team, right?
I'm not worried about trying to figure out how to stop him anymore, so that's good.
Mike?
My bad. There we go. Frank, when you think about I don't want to say just the 2-guard spot, it could be the 3 spot in cases where AD starts at the 5. Are you going to default a certain way towards, the guy that's playing the best defensively or the guy that's spacing the floor the best if there isn't a player that necessarily just automatically plugs both of those things?
Yeah, that's going to be a tough call. It's one of those, we have a lot of great choices there, and I'm not necessarily going to, pin it on, whoever the best defender is or whoever the best floor spacer is. It's whoever's going to complement that group the best. Obviously we want as many two-way players on the floor as we can, and I would say wherever we're getting the most out of both the shooting and the perimeter defense, I think those minutes will go to guys like that.
I suppose this is related, but in some ways you were able to shift lineups around when you won the title, and then you also talked about the importance of continuity. But so those things can kind of be balanced in a way. How do you approach that as you're as you've grown into coaching with different rosters?
Yeah, well, I think this year, we're going to have a continuity disadvantage, you know, because we have so many new faces and so many unique players coming into our system. But it's one of those things when you have talent and high IQ, high character guys, you can figure that out. And the core of Bron and AD being together in the way we've done things those last 2 years, I think that sets a great tone for integration, of the new guys, the new talented guys that we have coming in.
Hey. Right, LeBron's voice was a little hoarse. He said that he's kind of been doing something to, just bring energy to the gym with his voice, shouting out instructions. So what have you seen out of his engagement level over the first 2 days?
Well, he sets a great tone for attentiveness, hanging on every word the coaches are saying, and making sure he's understanding it, executing it at the right level, and I think that sets a tone for the rest of the guys, absorbing what we're trying to get through to them. It starts there, but then obviously his overall basketball mind and the experience in our system the last 2 years. Every time, just like the assistant coaches, every time we implement something, if there's a detail, that needs to be cleaned up, he's very vocal in those situations too. But I think if his voice is hoarse, it's because of the intensity of today's practice. I mean, these guys really, really got after it today. And, so early in training camp, to see guys playing that hard and that physical is a great sign, with the talent that we have.
Was it more scrimmage than you normally would have done at this stage of a training camp?
Yeah, a little bit more. I mean, yesterday was a lot of teaching, a lot of implementation, and today I wanted to get to 5-on-5 as quickly as we could. And, once you put a scoreboard on with the personalities we have on this team, it gets very, very competitive very, very quickly.
I thought, actually, first, if I might latch on to that, was there something, was there like a scene in the 5-on-5 that made you think, okay, yeah, these guys are charged up today, that this felt especially good to see?
Just not one play or anything. I mean, it was really just, the competitive nature of every possession, talking about the refs and, talking about, man, we got to make that pass, and the disappointment when they didn't score and the disappointment when they didn't get a stop. The care factor, to win every possession was super high, just throughout the whole practice.
And a little bit of divergence there, but timeline-wise, in terms of setting lineups, setting starting spots, those things, you have 6 preseason games. Are you hoping to figure that out by 4? Are you going to take all the allotted time, or what's sort of the timeline for figuring it out?
Yeah, I would say we're certainly not going to have any decisions made, before the last 2 preseason games. Hopefully we'll have some direction at that point. But we still could be looking at those last 2 games of try one way and the other way. The first 4 games, we'll probably have a lot of guys in and out of the lineup. We won't be whole in those games, and hopefully we will be the last 2. But like I said, I'm not putting a real timeline on it, but hopefully we should have some direction by then.
All right, we have time for 2 more. We'll go to Bill Oram, please.
Hey, Frank. You've obviously got so many guys who can play and are used to playing in their careers. Does that make it important to find roles with this group? Does it make it harder to have to find roles? And then with such experienced guys, does that make you more hopeful that it's going to be easier for guys to buy in if their role isn't necessarily what they've been used to throughout their careers?
Well, what I think about experienced guys is, hopefully they're over them trying to find themselves. As you see a lot with young players, and where do I fit, and what's my game going to be, and who am I going to be, and being concerned about their minutes and their role and the touches and all that stuff. I think you see that more with young players trying to find their way. The guys we have here seem to be really committed to the one goal. I don't think it's going to be any more difficult or less difficult to define the roles of those guys, but it's definitely a necessary ingredient in putting together a team and making sure everybody understands what their role is.
All right, last question will go to Dan, and it looks like it's Dogs there as well.
He's here too, sorry. Frank, just some housekeeping things. Did you guys have everybody available today for practice?
Yeah, Trevor did not practice today. He just had some right ankle soreness. Nothing we're really concerned about right now. Everybody else participated.
Same for the first day, too?
He practiced yesterday.